All right. Welcome to a very special live edition of Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I'm Jason Green, and I'm glad that everyone is joining us. We're going to have a really cool chat today with Carlos Cavazo of Quiet Riot and RATT. And, we did this interview with him last time. It was incredibly popular. 55,000 people have watched it so far. If you haven't seen it, we'll link it so that you can catch up. And so many people had questions that we couldn't get to. And Carlos also had some connection problems. So we decided we're going to try this again. And now it's your turn to ask your own damn questions. So whatever you want to know about Carlos, this is your chance to ask it. He's also going to give us a tour of some of the famous guitars that he's used. And so I think you guys are going to have a really good time with this. And so we're going to start by looking at Carlos's guitars, and then we're going to open it up to questions. So get your questions ready. Carlos Cavazo live right after this. All right, here we go. Let's bring Carlos in. And hold on one second. Unmute. There you go, Carlos. Can you hear me, Carlos? It looks froze. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Carlos, you might want to try. Oh, hold on. How about now? Try it again. I can't hear him. Carlos, can you hear me? It's funny. We just had this whole chat, and now he's gone. Okay, you're back. Okay, good. So Carlos, well, first of all, thank you for coming back.
Yeah.
I feel like we might have to have.
Want me to? I'm back.
Yeah, I think maybe. I think log out and then come right back, Carlos. And I'll entertain the people while you do that. Because I think, because for about 10 minutes before we started, Carlos and I were having a chat, and it was working fine, but now it's freezing up a little bit. So we're gonna wait a second for him to fix that. And meanwhile, I'm gonna get into the comments here. We're gonna have a good conversation. Just got to get that connection going. So hold on. Let's take a look.
Connect.
No. Hold on one second, Carlos. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, we might have like a little bit of a delay then.
It's just hit and miss, though. It wasn't as good as it was.
Okay. So Carlos, let's try it, and if it doesn't work, then we'll have you log out and then come back completely, okay? Okay.
Okay.
The dogs are here, though. Okay. So, Carlos, tell me a little bit about the guitars that you have. It's funny. People can get so mad at me.
I got it in
Well, hold
1983.
Hold on one second, Carlos. Log out and then log back in.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but I think. Hold on, Carlos. We're going to start again with Carlos. This is live broadcasting, folks. So give it a second. And I'm going to just tell him to log back in. 1 second. I know this is riveting YouTubing. Let's see some of these questions that you guys have. Okay, I like some of these. Okay. Anyway, so let's let him connect. What's funny is we were sitting here for 10 minutes and everything was perfect. We're yapping and chatting, and then you guys come in, and someone says to turn the Wi-Fi off. I don't know if we'll see. Let's see if that works. I'm going to tell him that. Maybe you guys are on. So, hold on. Okay, let's see. I don't see any picture though. Okay, you there, Carlos?
I hear you.
Okay,
I hear. Is it working now?
Yeah, somebody was suggesting you turn the Wi-Fi off and then you just go off the data on your phone.
Okay, I can do that.
So maybe
Turn Wi-Fi off.
We'll see if that's the answer. If not, I'm going to blame the backstage guitar tech who made the suggestion. I think he turned the lights on.
I don't see you now, though. That gets rid of Jason.
Yeah, no, now I got a...
You're not there.
Now I got a black screen. Maybe turn the Wi-Fi back on. Listen, we're going to get this done.
What?
Maybe try to go back to your Wi-Fi because now you're black. None more black.
I turned my. I don't see you.
No.
25,000 people watching.
My Wi-Fi is off. Sometimes it doesn't work out.
I think we're going to have you log back in one more time. Try. We're going to start over again, Carlos. One more time.
Log out. And
Yeah. All right, folks. We're almost there. How's everybody else doing? How did Carlos coexist with Kevin Dubrow on tour? That's a great question. I'm hoping that we're going to get the answer to that question. All right, so we're going to let him come back in, and hopefully we'll get it. Like I said, I was sitting there chatting with him for 10 minutes, and everything was great, and then we lost him. I like the Friday the 13th license plate question. Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. This is going to be it.
I hear you.
Okay, let's show us the first guitar, Carlos.
I hear you. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I acquired this guitar in 1983 on the road. A fan came down to the show, and he wanted to know if I wanted to come over to his house and check out his guitar collection. He lived real close to where we were, where the hotel was. So I said, sure, why not? I went down there and checked out his stuff. I really fell in love with this guitar, and he traded another guitar that I had for this. And it's a 1980 Gibson Flying V with block inlay, and it's kind of a unique guitar. I've had it for a long time.
Did you play that guitar on any records?
Oh yeah, I've used this on Quai records, and I think that's about it. No, I don't think I ever used it on a RATT record or nothing like that.
Okay.
And then another guitar, which I really like, is this one right here, which is a replica of the guitar that I used in the Bang Your Head album. Unfortunately, the original one got stolen, and the people at Jackson Charville were kind enough to make me a replica of that original guitar. And I love it. It's a great guitar. I recorded most of the Bang Your Head with the guitar just like this. And this was probably made about 8 years ago, this one. And then this is something new from Gibson. I got this probably about 3 years ago, 2018, I think it was. A new Gibson Flying V, pretty much stock. And yes, I do use Dimarzio pickups in some of my guitars, and a lot of my guitars have the Gibson pickups, some have Jackson pickups. When I pick up a guitar, it sounds great right when you plug it in. There's no point in changing the pickup. If you're having problems in the sound, right, maybe you want to try a different pickup to get different sound out of it. But generally, if you pick it up and you like the way it sounds, just leave it alone. That's what I do anyway.
Nice. What's next,
Sorry.
Carlos?
Here's a soloist that I like a lot. Mike Shannon, soloist from Jackson, Charvel. It's got flame inlays, and this might even have a Dimarzio pickup in it. But I've had this guitar since like the probably mid to late 90s. And I like this guitar a lot. It plays really good. I've been RATT records, and I used it a lot on a lot of stuff, sessions and stuff like that. And what else? That's about it. Some other Gibson Flying V's, a 2010, and I think that's 2008, the black one, I believe.
All right. Well,
there?
Yeah. So an amazing collection of guitars, obviously, and I think people watching this, probably recognize a lot of those guitars because obviously we've seen you play them live.
Yeah.
Yeah, in shows. So, okay, I'm gonna let some fans ask some questions because they've heard enough of me talking. Here's the first one I'm gonna go to. Question here on the screen: which guitarist did Carlos find inspirational or influential?
I'm sorry, can you
Sure.
repeat the question? I didn't. It was breaking up.
Which guitarist did Carlos find inspirational or influential?
Oh, I can read it. Okay. Influential. Oh, Jimi Hendrix, Michael Schenker, Richie Blackmore, influenced by the Beatles, their guitar playing, rhythm wise, they're great musicians. Who else? He's probably one of the main ones.
All right, I think we heard some of that, Carlos. But he gave you.
What else?
He gave you a bunch. So, okay, hold on. Let's see. Here's a guitar question. Here's a guitar.
I can read them if it breaks up. I can see it down there.
So the question here is: are you still using the Dimarzio Super Distortion, which you answered, and the other one is?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. What gauge strings? Yeah. I do like Dimarzio pickups. They're great. I use distortion in some of my guitars. And great sustain and a good feel to them. And also I use 10 gauge strings, usually Ernie Balls. I like Ernie Ball, the 10 gauge yellow pack, what I've been using lately. Are great strings. Been using them for a long time. Okay,
so he said 10 gauge Ernie Ball for those who might have not heard. Okay. Some of these questions I don't. Here we go. Will there be more material released under the name of Snow? Picked up at Last and Love It.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we worked hard on those records. A lot of that stuff was songs we wrote through 1978 through 81, and then I had a live stuff on there too, recorded at the Starwood, and I think it was 81 or something like that. 82. But we all liked it, and that's my roots, where I came from, basically. But we have more material of Snow, so hopefully we will be releasing some more in the future. We've been talking about it, and we got some live footage too that hopefully we can put out there.
All right, nice. Here's a good one. Do you still have the Washburn AV20 you played at the US Festival and the Come On Feel the Noise video?
Actually, I don't. A really close friend of mine owns that. He begged me for it so bad. I think I just gave it to him, if I remember right. But I've known the guy since like the early 80s, mid 80s, and he has it now. A friend of mine named Eric.
All right. Here's another good one. What does Carlos remember about Hearing Aid?
What I remember about it was fun, actually. I got to meet a lot of people I haven't met yet in the industry. And everybody was really cool. I think they just had an open bar and a bunch of girls, and it attracted everybody came down. So I think it was a lot of fun. And recording it with Ronnie was a lot of fun. He had everybody sing the chorus one day, and then another time we went in and did the guitar playing, and everybody went in and did their respective instruments. But it was fun. I think everybody was, gave, I guess, and I had a blast doing it.
Nice. Now, Carlos, I think I might have an answer to our problem here, which is that maybe maybe I call you and we get the audio from the phone, and because I think you'll hear it a lot clearer. So, what I'm going to do is, should I call your phone or call Vicky's phone?
What do I have to do? You could do Vicky's phone or mine, but if you call on my phone, would the camera still work?
No, so let me call hers, and then we'll keep it up, but that'll fix our audio problem. So hold on, because I think people will be able to hear you better. So I'm calling her right now. The magic of live television. Okay, hold on. Now I'm going to put you... Okay, so I got you on the speakerphone.
Let me turn the volume off on mine.
Right. All right.
Let me turn the volume off.
I'm going to get this. Hold on.
You want me to put you on speakerphone or no?
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to put you on speakerphone?
All right. I think this is going to work.
Let me know when you want me to hang up.
No, let Carlos talk through this phone.
Yeah, let me have that phone. Yeah, let me have that phone.
You hear me?
Yeah, I just got to turn down your mic, which I did. Okay. You hear me,
Yeah, I'm
Carlos?
hearing delay, but it's okay. It doesn't bother me.
Okay. So let's get back to these questions. So I'm going to read them to you. And,
Okay.
Okay, let's see. This is a good one. Which location was the video clip "The Wild and the Young" filmed?
That was filmed at an abandoned electric plant, I believe, or electric or water purification plant out in Pasadena somewhere. I think it was an electrical plant, and they let us have the whole thing. It was a lot of fun. We had a blast filming that. Very industrial looking set, I guess, and made for a good video for that song.
Very cool. Okay, now here's one that we're getting this question a lot. And the question is, tell us the first time you met Randy Rhoads, and did you have guitars in, what was it meeting like?
Very first time I met Randy Rhoads, I'm not even quite sure the first time, but I do remember one time Snow, the band I was in at the time, was opening up for Quiet Riot, the version that had Randy in the band. And I was hanging out in the dressing room. It was in Burbank at a theater. Mm-hmm. And I was hanging out in the dressing room, and Randy came walking in. And he was checking out my guitars, and we talked for a while. And he really liked the acoustic guitar that I was using. We had a song in our set that I played an acoustic guitar. He picked that up and was playing for a while backstage. And I remember that really well.
Yeah. Didn't you tell me once that you were close to jamming with him?
Actually, I was, yeah. I remember that the guys from Snow went to a party, and they had a stage and some equipment set up for anybody who wanted to get up there and play around. And me and some of the guys from Snow got up there and we're jamming around, and we saw Kevin and Randy come walking into the party, and I was waving them, "Come on, you guys, get up here, let's jam." And they weren't into it. They weren't feeling up to it for whatever reason. And they never did. They hung out for a while and watched us and bailed, I think. But I wish they would have came up. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, what an experience that would have been. You know, I got to ask you on another question before we go to other folks. Talk a little bit about meeting Eddie Van Halen and what that was like, and knowing him.
I met him many times throughout the years, and I wish we could have became better friends. But you know, we just knew each other from seeing each other at events, you know, movie premieres and like out on the town things at clubs or whatever. The first time I met him was through some friends of mine that used to live next door to me. They knew him and went to high school with him, and I met him through them. Met him through them. But he was always cool to me. You know, I enjoyed being around him. He was very friendly, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, you know, you probably saw him before when they were playing those backyard parties and before he became a big thing.
I did. I was lucky enough to have seen them probably about maybe 2, 3, 4 times before they got their first record out. I remember one time I think it was Guitarist, and one time at Golden West Ballroom, bands used to play down there. Those in Orange County somewhere, and I remember them playing some covers and some originals. I knew they were going to go far. I knew they sounded awesome back then, and they still do. You know, they did. You know.
Yeah, I should point out that I'm wearing my Guitarist T-shirt today, which is which is a gift.
I see.
Which is a gift from the Cavazo family, and I want to make sure that people know that. Carlos's wife runs the website bangyourhead.us, and you can they have the license to Guitarist merchandise, so you can buy Carlos T-shirts, Guitarist T-shirts. They got guitar picks. They've got autographed stuff from Carlos. So I just want to make sure that people know that to go check out bangyourhead.us, and I'll link that down below.
See, even Elsa likes that too.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna be calling right away.
Okay, so let's. Here's another question about the music videos. What do you remember about the Party All Night video?
I remember it being like one big party. Really was. They had a bunch of people down there, and probably drinking and whatever else, and it was pretty fun because they had us play the guys in the band, and we also played party goer, and it was a lot of fun. Met a lot of cool people that night, and I had a good time.
Here's a question I've never heard before. It says, is it true that John Corabi tried out for Quiet Riot? If so, what was that like?
You know, not when I was in the band. I don't remember him trying out for. Maybe he did. I don't remember now. It's been so long. We did audition a few people, but I don't remember if John was one of them. I don't know. That's a good question. We'll have to ask John that.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll hold that one for him.
But if he wasn't chosen, it wasn't because he wasn't good. He's an amazing talent. He's an amazing singer. Maybe we felt that he wasn't the right fit at the moment. You know, who knows?
Yeah, I'm skimming through some of these questions here. Somebody said they'd love to hear you noodle on the acoustic guitar. I don't think they realize we better off with 2 cans of the string right now.
I know.
They're getting too.
I can always play you something and send it to you. You can edit it in. You know.
Yeah.
Or something.
Okay, let's see what else people want to know, and feel free to type in your questions. Someone earlier asked, and it was a good question, is there any unreleased Quiet Riot music that we might see from the core lineup?
There is some unreleased material that CBS Sony owns. Who knows if they'll ever release it? I don't even know if it's mixed or not, but there were some songs that we recorded that were never released.
Yeah, and I assume that there's a lot of, there's a lot of licensing issues and people involved in that.
Of course, right.
Yeah.
A lot of legalities.
Yes. Yeah, obviously. Here's a question. Does Carlos still have the SG Junior, and what year was it?
No, I do not have that guitar anymore. Unfortunately, it was stolen from me also.
Oh, man.
I do like that guitar, and they are good guitars. But one of my first Gibsons was one like that in like the early 70s, one of the first Gibson guitars I ever bought. You know, it was like $300 back then, but you know, that was a lot of money back then. Like I could barely afford that. I had to beg my parents for the money, but I ended up getting it. But I wish I still had that one. Unfortunately, the original one I sold, and that one, which was like that first one I had, it got stolen from me.
Yeah. Before we get to this next question, Carlos, I've got to ask you, there was a time when there was a series of home invasions in California, and they were targeting these famous rappers. I can't remember the ones for sure right now, but you were one of the homes that was broken into. It's insane. Just tell me what happened there.
I'm not even sure what really happened. I just was around in my house at 10:30 at night, and I was getting ready to go take a shower, and then I remember some guys just came walking in my bathroom door, and thank God I wasn't naked. I had my boxer shorts on, and they held a gun to my head, and I said, "Lay down," and I complied with their demands, and they started ransacking my house, and I managed to get up and run out of the house.
Yeah.
Ran out and started yelling for my neighbors, "Somebody call the police, I'm being robbed." And right when I ran down to this main street I lived on, there happened to be a cop car coming up, and I flagged them down, and they thought I was some kind of a nut. They pulled their guns on me, and I know I'm being robbed. My house was right there, and they caught some of the people that night, and then there got other people they caught up to later on.
Yeah. And was anything, were any guitars stolen in that?
No, they didn't get away with nothing. They got caught. My guitars were stolen at out of an airport one time. Somebody went through our guitar cases in the airport and took stuff.
Oh man!
And a couple different airports. It could happen.
With that,
I think one party, I think I had somebody walked out with a guitar. I can't remember.
Yeah, I would always worry about parties and things.
I know, you got to watch it.
I almost feel like with that, because it was really famous rap people, I almost feel like someone just heard, "Oh, Quiet Riot, well, they sold 10 million records. This guy must be filthy rich." You know what I mean?
It's a possibility. Hard to say. They don't tell you too much information because they're not allowed to.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it's okay. Hold on. Here's an interesting question. Do you think if Kevin would have kept his ego in check, Quiet Riot would have been as big as Motley Crue?
Yes, I think so. I think Kevin, he unfortunately did piss a lot of people off. He had a knack for doing that. It's just the kind of personality he had. And I think a lot of it became probably misconstrued in the press. I think after he said a couple of bad things, it became like a witch hunt. And everybody wanted to see him go down, but he did create quite a bit of shit in the internet. The internet and the press. And unfortunately, it took its toll on us. It did.
Yeah, and we should point out though, Quiet Riot paved the way for these bands like Motley Crue.
We helped. I'm sure we did in many aspects. People helped us as well, like Van Halen and Def Leppard. They were out before us. And, everybody helps each other. That's what it's about. But hopefully we did help Motley Crue in some way. Yeah.
Well, with Quiet Riot being the first band, a heavy metal band to go #1, I think it did open a lot of doors. It maybe got MTV to want to play some of these other bands.
You're right. It did. It probably did. But we didn't think about that at the time. We're just doing what we did, and that was it.
Sure. Now, this question is: do you keep in touch with Paul Schwertino?
Yes, I do. I like Paul. We still write songs together, and we'll be doing things together in the future, for sure.
Yeah, you guys have the band Rough Riot, which has members of Rough Cut and Quiet Riot together. And that just got, like everybody's band, kind of slowed down because of what was happening.
Yeah, right. Because of COVID and the pandemic and all that.
Yeah. Okay.
We couldn't tour, but hopefully we'll catch back up and where we left off and continue on maybe next year or this year. Depends on when people start touring again.
Okay. Here's a good question. This is a long one. Quiet Riot opened for ZZ Top, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and Black Sabbath. Do you have any favorite memories from any of these shows?
Oh, yes, I do. I have memories from all the shows. I remember one good memory of ZZ Top is we got to meet the guys towards the end of the tour, and we went into their dressing room, and they were all really cool to us, and we just drank a couple beers with them and sat and talked small shit, talk with them, and it was a lot of fun to meet those guys on that level. And Iron Maiden, one of the favorite moments of the tour is we got to sit in with those guys towards the end of the tour. Both bands sat in together and played. I think we played "Tush" by ZZ Top of all songs. And then Judas Priest. I remember hanging with those guys quite a bit on the touring with them, and they were all really nice guys. And every night they sounded amazing. They were like spot on every single night. And we toured in England with them. And then Black Sabbath, that was when our album went #1 when we were touring with Black Sabbath. And I remember they had such a huge set. We literally only had like 1 or 2 feet in front of the drum riser because they had their drums pushed so far up. And I remember Kevin had nowhere to go, but like on my side or on Rudy's side, I remember that. But it was a good tour for us. They were really cool people as well.
Yeah. Okay. So there's some good memories. I like this question here. My uncle saw them at the US Festival in the 80s. What are your memories of that gigantic show? I see pictures. It's a sea of people. And so people who might not realize, you guys went on first that day at the US Festival. We did.
I remember we were on the road with the Scorpions supporting their tour. And we were on we're in Texas, and we flew in for the US Festival the day before the show, and we had a day off. And then the next morning, we drove in there on vans. I remember a lot of people were getting flown in on helicopters, but for some reason, we drove in on vans. I think some of us were scared to fly in a helicopter. I'm not sure, but. I remember it was hard to get in there because the traffic was really bad. There was lines of cars in every street out there. But anyway, I remember they had all the dressing rooms of all the bands like real close to each other. So we got to meet a lot of people we haven't met in the past, and hung out with pretty much everybody. And we did the show. We were the first band to go on, then Motley Crue after us, and Triumph and Scorpions, Van Halen, and Judas Priest, whoever else I might have missed. And then after the show, everybody just partied all night, went back to the hotels and hung out. And we flew out the next day and continued our tour with the Scorpions.
Pretty amazing. Obviously, that's something you'll never forget.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Okay, I saw a question here I liked. Okay, here we go. Question here is, was it awkward getting involved with the QR documentary when Frankie asked you a question? It seemed like you were a bit reluctant. Now, I'll be honest with you, I didn't see the Quiet Riot documentary, so you tell me what he's talking about.
I wasn't involved with that. He made it look like I might have been, but no, I never saw it. And no, I wasn't involved with it. We weren't speaking at that time.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought too. So whatever this person saw, maybe they added old footage of you.
Something like that, probably.
Okay, let's see here. A lot of people watching right now, so I'm trying to just get to all these questions. Someone's asking about Rough Riot, but you already answered that. Here's an interesting one. How important was it to get the core lineup of Quiet Riot back together in 1997?
I think it was really important. I mean, anytime you get the original band, it's always best. And again, we talked about that the last interview, how Marilyn Manson, indirectly got us back together in 97 with that party that he had. And after we got back together, we felt it was better that way to get the original band back together, and we stuck together for a while longer after that.
And it's funny. So we did that last interview, and I pointed out to people, Carlos does not get involved in gossip and drama. He's not on Facebook. It's not his thing. So I asked you about Marilyn Manson, and you said, oh, he's great. Now, and he probably was, but so now Marilyn Manson is controversial with this whole cancel culture. We're all supposed to hate Marilyn Manson. But so people were asking me, and I said, Carlos probably has no clue what Marilyn Manson is doing. It's not his. Yeah, it's not.
personal life. I don't know what he's doing, but I know he's always doing something. But
Yeah. Well, I think, so I should say that when we did that first interview, 55,000 people have watched it so far. I've never got a more positive response to you. People were kind of mad at me for forgetting what Quai Riot had to eat in 1983, but everybody really had kind words to say, and it is because you've taken the high road and you don't really get involved with some of these, and you've played with some larger than life characters. So here's an interesting one that I kind of know the answer, but people want to know. Did you talk with Frankie before his death?
Unfortunately, no. I wish we could have buried the hatchet before that all happened, but we never. I don't think I've talked to him since maybe 2005 or 6 or something like that. Was the last time I've spoken with him. Or no, actually, when Kevin passed away in 2007 was the last time I spoke to him.
Yeah, and you guys had a business difference, and you felt like, and I'm putting words in your mouth, but so you can stop me if I'm wrong. But you felt like Frankie handled some business improperly.
Well, he was pretty much, a self-appointed manager, and I don't think he was the right guy to manage the band. I didn't like what he was doing in a lot of respects, but I felt like I just wanted to remove myself from that toxic situation. It wasn't like I was quitting the band. I just wanted to remove myself from that situation. I wasn't happy with it.
Yeah. And so because you guys weren't tight, you didn't reconnect when he passed around that time.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Here's one that everybody's asked. What's up with RATT, Warren, etc.? That's always a question in the world of RATT.
What's up with those guys? I don't, I haven't spoken to any of them in a while. Warren, I spoke to maybe in the last few months, 6 months, but the other guys I haven't spoken to in a while.
Yeah. We know that, Steven and Bob did a little jam thing at the Whiskey, and you have said that if Warren was back, that you would be open to doing RATT again.
I would. Yeah, I like playing with those guys. As long as we can all solve the differences and, all the details out.
Mm-hmm. I think I don't think the differences are on your end, put it like that.
No, they're not. They're more between them.
Yeah. I think Warren, there's somebody owns RATT every month. It's somebody different. I feel like they just pull names out of a hat. Because it's really crazy and I don't know if I'm positive, but the only person who doesn't own RATT is Stephen Pearcy, which is sort of nuts. So he has to either team up with one of the other guys who does. And then they vote each other out. What RATT does is they have to have two. So two of them team up and get mad at the other guy and vote him out, but then they have to go back. That band's insane.
It's something to that effect. I really don't want to go into it all. I don't even know it all, to be honest with you. A lot of it I do, but a lot of it I don't. But I don't want to know it, but they are what they are, and hopefully they can, resolve their differences long enough to do some tours and some records. Would be awesome because they were a great band.
Yeah, absolutely. And I should point out, I gave a very edited version of RATT, and I've toured with 37 different versions of RATT in just 6 months. So,
right.
Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Some of these questions I don't really get, let's see. Somebody said they think Geico owns RATT now. That's funny because you watch that Geico commercial. Yeah.
They played the hell out of that commercial.
And you got Steven and Juan and then a bunch of guys who I think are gone already.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
These guys are.
Don't you ever wish you could just play in a normal band, Carlos?
You don't know why. That's funny.
So this,
answer that question from Brazil. A question.
Mm-hmm.
Do I still have the white Gibson Les Paul? No, I don't. Unfortunately, I do not have that. That was a great guitar, though. That one was also stolen.
Oh my
I've had
God.
like four or five guitars stolen from me in my career. Four maybe.
How awful. You got some bad luck. I think nowadays with fly dates, you know, you pretty much only bring one guitar and you kind of keep that guitar with you no matter what.
Yeah, you do. You fly with it and put it in the overhead, and usually you bring two. Check one down below and bring one overhead in case one gets lost. But you have to bring maybe two in case you break a string or something. You know?
Yeah. This is a good question. Someone would like to know, what do you love doing that makes you happy besides music?
Hobbies. I like racing slot cars, electric trains, building models, working on cars. I work on my own cars sometimes. I'm always fixing friends' cars, my wife's car, and people always, want you to fix their cars. Funny.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked on my own bandmates' cars too, actually. Warren's and guys from Quai Right. What else do I like to do? Hang out with my pets. I'm a real dog guy. I like dogs a lot. So I hang out with them a lot.
Yeah. Pets are better than people sometimes.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Did you have
Thanks for being patient with me on that interview from last week. Sorry, I missed it. We had to put one of our dogs down, a dog that we've had for like a number of years, and it was pretty tough. I wasn't in the mood to do any interview after that.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. So we were supposed to do this last Monday, but Carlos did have a dog that passed, so we took a week off, and so we give our condolences on that.
Thanks.
Did you back to those cars? Everybody talks about how you had a sports car even back in high school. Is that true?
No, I wish I would have. I never got a sports car till I started making money with Quiet Riot when we started selling records.
Okay. Yeah, I hear all these stories about you and the sports cars.
That's funny.
Yeah, I hear a lot. There's a lot of questions on here about slot cars. I got to tell you, I don't even know what a slot car is. So you tell me.
The electronic car that you race with a controller on the track, and people used to go pay put quarters in a machine and race on like a 10-lane track at a hobby shop. Some places still have those tracks. And I have like a couple different sets here at my house. I have a 124 and a 132nd. I have HO. And I have a couple friends that we were into it, and we race here.
Yeah. Somebody says that RATT is irrelevant without the four of you and Carlos. I agree.
Well, thanks. Thomas said thanks.
Yeah. Let's see here. Does anyone in the band still have possession of the Quiet Riot steel mask? And is there a story behind that mask and perhaps what it symbolized? This is a good question.
I'm sure it still exists. There's original ones that were made for the video and for the album cover. And the story behind the mask is the artist, Stan Watts, came up with that. That was his idea for the album cover. And on the first video, the actor played the guy in the mask. And then in the second video, Condition Critical, Mama We're All Crazy Now, that was Kevin behind the mask on that video. And also on Mental Health, that was Kevin in the straight jacket in that part of the video as well.
So you don't have yours anymore?
I never had one, but we did sell them as merchandise. A plastic, like Halloween style mask version of it. It's not quite right.
There's one out now, and next time, Carlos, next time we do one of those appearances, we'll bring out some of those masks. No
problem. I'll wear it, man. I'll wear it to sleep and help my snoring. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, your wife will be happy. The other day I had Mark Weiss on the show, photographer.
Oh yeah.
And so he took so many famous Quiet Riot pictures. So I brought out some of my memorabilia to show him and some of his photos. And so this is one here, right? This is a 45, and you can see it's signed by the entire band. This is Bang Your Head. And he told me an interesting thing about this. Do you remember where this picture was taken?
Hold it up. I don't see it. What picture?
It's a graffiti wall.
Yeah, There, yeah, I think that was Mark Weiss that took that. I'm pretty sure. I forget now, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that was like backstage before or after a show, and he hung a banner, and we just posed in front of it in like the shower room, if I remember right.
Madison Square Garden.
That's where it was taken. He said that.
Yeah, he said that
Backstage, probably. Yeah.
He said it was backstage, and that Frankie painted a lot of that stuff that went.
I remember, yeah, he did. You're right. We all did. I think we all put a little something on that wall.
Yeah, I wish I knew where that was now. And this,
yeah, it's true.
This is a Mama We're All Crazy Now 45, which is also signed by everybody. This is an original in there. So I'm showing just some of these things that, you know, they've been in my house for so long. I figured somebody else might enjoy seeing them. This is a Come On Feel the Noise 45 signed, and this, what's funny is it's the same cover.
Same cover as the right.
The Mental Health record.
Yeah.
And here's some old promo photos. These are from Pasha. So these are going way back.
Yeah.
And then
photo section for that. I remember that.
Yeah, this is a much later one. Probably towards the end. And then these were Mark Weiss covers as well. These magazine covers.
Yeah.
You know, so definitely a lot of cool memories. Okay, let's get to some other people's questions. Here we go. Do you ever go back and rewatch the Quiet Riot Live in the 21st Century show?
You know, I really don't. I'm not into watching the band too much. I never really watched footage of me with RATT. Except if my friends were watching it and I happened to be there, I would watch it, but I'm not going to put it on myself and watch it. Maybe right after we do it, but then after that, I would probably watch it again. But no, I haven't seen it since like probably the first or second time I've watched it. You know?
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't seem to be your style. You're not so much of a reminiscing.
All day.
Yeah, you're not so much of a reminiscent guy. And I think, though, one of the reasons why people are so interested in you is you're not constantly shooting your mouth off and commenting on everything.
I hope not.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Here's a sports car question. I'm sure you still have the white Lambo. I rode with you back in 1986.
He rode with me back in 1986. You know, actually, I don't have that car right now. I have a Ferrari now. I got rid of that car a while back. I know the guy who owns it, though. He's going to get it all happening, and, you know, I could probably borrow it anytime I want. The guy's a good friend of mine, a guy named Rusty. But, I got rid of that car probably about a couple of years back.
Yeah. Now, somebody asked, does Carlos collect any Quai Riot memorabilia? You already know the answer. He's looking at mine. He doesn't care to have his own.
Oh, you know what? The guy that asked that question is my cousin. Alex? Yeah, he's my cousin.
That's fun. Your cousin should know that you don't have it anymore.
Well, I haven't spoken to him I'm pretty sure that's my cousin.
Well,
yeah, it is. Yeah, from Mexico, from my dad's side of the family.
Speaking of Mexico, Carlos, I got so much shit for saying that you were born in Mexico when you were born in the United States. And since then, Wikipedia has changed it. But oh my goodness, were people so angry?
Angry about that?
Yeah, mad at me. They said you should know better than to read Wikipedia. You know.
Yeah, my dad met my mom when he was in the service. He came over to the United States and joined the service, and that's when I was born. He was stationed in Georgia.
Now your cousin lives in Atlanta now.
My Mexican cousin? No, he's probably living in Mexico. He says he lives in Atlanta.
Yeah, Alex Trejo.
Well, you need to give him my information, like my email and phone number or something.
So, Alex, send me a message, and then I'll put you in touch with Carlos.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to that part of the family in probably a number of years. His mom is my dad's sister.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, Kevin. Kevin, if you have a question, let me know. Okay, let me see what else we have here. Carlos, what do you think of the 1993 Terrified album?
Terrified record. It's not one of my favorite ones that we've done. It's got some good moments on it, but I couldn't say it's one of my favorite Quiet Riot records.
Okay. This question he answered. It's what brand of strings do you use the most and why? He said he uses Ernie Ball 10s. Is there a reason that you chose that one?
Yeah, the Ernie Balls seem like they don't break as often as some strings. You want a string obviously that's strong and it's not going to break and keeps its brilliance and feels good on your fingertips and sounds good with your type of pickups that you got and guitar that you got. And seems like the Ernie Balls work with my Flying V's, and that's what I've been using lately.
Okay.
10 gauge yellow pack.
Was the US Festival the biggest crowd you played in front of? I'd have to think yes.
Yes, it was. We played some festivals that were close to that size, but the US Festival was definitely the largest.
Okay. And we got people from all over the world here saying hello from San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Oh, really? Yeah. Been there many times. Love it there.
Chile, South America.
Yeah, Chile. Went there with RATT and Quiet Riot.
Yeah. And okay, so a lot of people are saying, what does rest in peace Dexter mean? And Dexter was Carlos's dog that passed away last week.
Right. Yeah. He's the dog that passed away like exactly a week ago today.
Yeah. And everybody loves your Rottweiler who appeared in the last video. Everyone was amazed how patient the dog was.
Yeah. She's right here laying on the ground right now, right in front of the guitars.
This is a question that I'll put it in, but it's a little bit of an odd one. The question is, who was harder as a guitarist to replace? And I don't think Carlos would say he replaced anybody, but it's Randy or Robin. And then did you ever meet them? He answered this a little bit.
No, I never really felt like I was replacing Randy because it wasn't like I stepped into the band right after he stepped out. That probably would have been tough. I think it probably would have been tougher to replace him when he was with Ozzy. To replace him when he was in Quiet Riot would have been easier. But to replace him after he came out of Ozzy, like when Grant Gillis did and a couple other guitar players, that would have been hard to do. Because he was so well liked, and for people to see somebody else doing his stuff up there, they probably wouldn't have been good. But I never felt it like I was replacing him because, like I said, he was out of the band a number of years before I came into the mix. And replacing Robin, that's not an easy job. He's a great guitar player and songwriter. And that guy has some riffs on those RATT records that are not easy to play. And I knew both of them. I met Andy a number of times, and he was always a really nice guy. And I met Robin many times. I hung out with him many times. He was always really cool to me, and I knew him before I knew any of the guys. Actually, he's the first guy I met.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. People are concerned about the echo, so I think if I mute your mic, we should be okay. I think I did that.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I think this will be better, folks. So again, we're having some technical difficulty, but I wanted to make sure that people get to ask their questions. Here's one. This is a long one. First Quiet Riot South American tour was 1985. Do you remember when the Tower of Lights fell due to the pressure from the audience? Kjell, I don't know how to pronounce it, Benner played the show and replaced Rudy on bass.
Yeah, Kjell Benner. Yeah, Rudy had left the band right then, and we had a bass player, Kjell Benner, taking his place for a while. And yes, I do remember that light tower coming down. I was worried about people getting hurt. I remember somebody had thrown a light cover that looks like a flat piece of aluminum, and it hit me right on my foot and almost like cut my toe off. Thank God it didn't. It just like cut a hole in my shoe, missed my toe by like an eighth of an inch, something like that. But yeah, I do remember that, and I hope nobody got hurt on that. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, here's a good. Oh, not that one. Hold on. This is a good one. What is your favorite guitar solo to play, whether it's from Quiet Riot or another band you grew up loving?
Favorite guitar solo to play? That's a good question. I don't know. Probably for Quiet Riot, it'd have to be the Bang Your Head solo. For other bands that I grew up loving, probably something by UFO or Deep Purple. You know, I had the opportunity of playing with Joe Lynn Turner, who sang with Deep Purple, and Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, and we played a lot of those songs, so they were fun to play solos on those.
Okay, question we get a lot of is, were you in communication with Frankie? He answered that. And are you still speaking with Rudy Sarzo?
We talk, but we don't call each other on the phone hardly at all. But we run into each other like on the town or something like that. The last time I saw him was when he was doing that. What was it called again?
There's a rock and roll fantasy camp
concert at the Whiskey.
Yeah,
I went down to that show and hung out for a while.
I was there. Sebastian Bach was singing.
That's right. Yeah, you were there. That's right. You were.
And for those of you who missed it, and I don't want to say anything insulting about any other lineups of Quiet Riot, but as a fan, seeing Carlos and Rudy playing together with Sebastian Bach singing was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I've done gigs with Sebastian. He's an amazing guy. He really is.
Mm-hmm.
Great man, great singer.
Here's a question I don't think you have, but have you ever met Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Yes, I did. I met him at the Grammys, believe it or not, in the bathroom of all places.
Wow.
You know, I was probably leaving and he was coming in, or vice versa. We talked for briefly, and you know, that was it. I met him only one time.
Pretty amazing. I see you got to put these questions through because I would have had no idea. I see a lot of people are really excited, enjoying this. There's 200 people watching right now. Did the Osborne camp ever reach out to you to be in the band?
No, never did. And you know, I might not have wanted to do it after hearing all the stories from other people, you know, coming out of there. But just to deal with all that might have been a bit much. I think I would have rather been with Quiet Riot or RATT, you know. Yeah.
Again, the Randy Rhoads question comes up constantly, and he did talk about it. He knew Randy before he was inquired, and Randy was one of the people who recommended Carlos.
Yeah, he did. He recommended me to Kevin. He goes, he was talking to Kevin on the phone one day, and he said, "You got to check out this guy, Carlos. My students are talking about it. Maybe he'll work good with you, or so you guys can work something out." And we ended up hooking up. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. That was.
Hey, you know, another thing. I almost got an opportunity to jam with Eddie Van Halen too. One time he came down to see Snow at the Troubadour in Hollywood, and I asked him, you know, "Hey, come on, do you want to sit in with us and play?" He goes, "No, I don't want to do. What do you guys want me up there for?" "Well, because you're a superstar. Why else?" You know.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't want to do it. And I was bummed out. Oh, damn it, you know, too bad.
Yeah, how amazing that would have been.
Yeah. That was like in the late 70s, probably 1980, 79, 80.
Right. Alex wants to know, main attraction on QR3, who wrote that song, and was it Carlos who played the solo on the record?
Actually, that was my song. I came up with that song, and you know, obviously the guys in the band helped me finish it off. And oh yeah, I played all the guitar playing and all the solos and all those records.
Yeah, you're one of those bands where you don't, you know, if you hear the guitar, you hear Carlos. You know, they other than bass playing, you know, you're on the first record. It seems to be some confusion. Maybe you can set it straight. So Chuck Wright played on a couple songs. Is that right?
Yeah, Chuck Wright played on the first album. He played on Bang Your Head and Don't Want to Let You Go. And he sang backgrounds on probably just about everything. And on the second album, he played on one song. We Were Born to Rock, I think it was. And then the third album, he played on the whole album. He was in the band at that point.
Yeah, and because and so people should know, you talked about this in our first interview. When Randy passed away, Rudy came back to Quiet Riot, and so that's what happened. Chuck might have been involved for a minute, but ultimately Rudy wanted to come back.
True.
This is a question we see a lot of. This is from Charvel Schroeder. Any chance of future collaborations with Warren DeMartini?
I'm hoping so. I would love to play with him. I felt like we played well together, and our styles are very similar because we're influenced by very similar people, and we come from the same era of music. And I'm hoping something in the future for us. You know, I would not be against it. That's for sure.
In my opinion, you and Warren have similar personalities. Warren is another guy who is not on social media.
You're right. You're right.
He's pretty private, you know.
Yes, he is.
And so he's not going to get into these mudslinging contests. It's just not what he does.
He's not into that either. He's more laid back. You're right.
This is a question we see a lot of about the Slade songs. And you were saying, I think it was Spencer Proffer's idea, right?
Yeah, originally it was Spencer Proffer's idea, the producer who produced Quiet Riot from day one. He felt Kevin sounded like Noddy Holder, which he kind of does. Mm-hmm. And we were always kind of fans of the band, so we thought we'd give it a try. He wanted us to do Come On, Feel the Noise, and the other one, what the hell, I can't think of it off the top of my head right now.
Mama, We're All Crazy Now?
Yeah, We're All Crazy Now, thank you. Mental block there. So we recorded both of them and ended up using them. And I think Come On, Feel the Noise was the better one. I think that helped launch the record because it's a great song, you know. We sound really good in that. The energy level's great. The performances are great, and recording is great. You know.
All right. Here's a question from a young person, James. James is 14 years old. He's an inspiring musician. He's really big into 80s metal, and he wants to know, first of all, what advice would you give him, and second of all, what was your rig like during the Metal Health album?
Advice I would give you for becoming a successful musician is definitely write your own songs. You want to write your own songs because you're going to get so far playing cover tunes. It's okay to start out with cover tunes just so you can develop a style. You know, maybe play cover tunes from some of your favorite artists. And once you develop a style and learn more about music, start writing your own music, and then start playing live. Playing live is the best boot camp you could ever have. Getting together with a few kids, a few people your age, and playing out there live. Just get out there and play, because the more you play, the better you're going to become, and the more you write songs, the better your songs are going to become. And as far as the rig that I was using in the Mental Health album, it was the Marshall Mark II 100-watt heads with the MXR distortion. I think I was using a RATT distortion back then. That's what I used, and Gibson and Jackson Charvel guitars.
All right. Well, that's some sound advice. And I'll add, be careful what kind of personalities you work with.
Yeah.
Because,
get a good attorney to protect yourself.
Yeah. Carlos, it's amazing you still look so young after all the personalities that you worked with. I can't read the name, but the question is, did you write all the music for the song Run for Cover? Awesome song.
That's from James. Is that? No, that's another. Hard as Nails, 64. Actually, I wrote all that music. That's the first song that me and Kevin wrote together. When we got together, I had that music, and I didn't have no lyrics. So I usually like the singer to write their own lyrics, and because they're going to be the ones that are going to have to sing it. So I'd rather have them deal with that. So I presented the song to Kevin, and he came up with what you hear, and that was the first thing we came up with.
We've got a ton of questions about your brother Tony. So everybody wants to know, how's your brother doing, and is there any plans to play with him again?
He's doing great. He's, recently got married within the last year or two, I think it was. And he's living with his wife in Southern California in Temecula area or something like that. I forget now. Not Idlewild, something like that. But he's doing good. I talk to him probably once every week or 2 weeks. And I'm sure we'll probably do something again in the future one day. Like I said, we may have some more snow material released in the future. And we'll be doing that, if anything. But hopefully we'll do some live stuff or new recordings or something.
All right. Ash Ortiz, what pedals did you use back in the early 80s?
What pedals I used, like I said earlier, MXR Plus, Distortion Plus. and I used a Boss CE2 chorus, which it was one of the better sounding choruses. I think they're kind of hard to find nowadays. And I used, I think MXR delay back then. And that was pretty much it. I've only mainly used like distortion and delay and sometimes chorus or flanger, MXR flanger. I use those. That I don't use tons of pedals, but usually not more than 4 or something. Wah wah once in a while. Crybaby.
Yeah. All right. This is a question this is Mario Ruiz. The question is, why didn't you stay? I'm going to interpret that question as, how come you didn't stick around with Quai Riot?
Like I said earlier, I think I was just a little over the way they were running things, and things were just a mess. I didn't like the way they were, and I just felt it better to let them do it on their own and not with me involved, And so I chose to remove myself from the situation and move on. And I'm glad I did, actually. I would have loved it if we would have gotten back together, but unfortunately, it was never to become, a reality.
And in my first interview with Carlos, he does talk about it. At the time, Kevin was missing flights, and it was really difficult on him and Rudy, Carlos and Rudy. And so ultimately, they both had left that band. And as things went on, it just didn't seem like the right thing to return to, from what Carlos has told me. Okay. Here's a question, and some of this is not in English, so I don't want to butcher another language. They want to know if you have any influence from Queen or Kiss.
That's hello from Argentina. That's what it says. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you kidding? I loved Queen and Kiss when I was growing up. Definitely Kiss. I used to see them live whenever I had a chance, and I got the opportunity to meet pretty much everybody in the band. And I think Kiss is everybody's favorite. I'm sure they influenced me somewhere along the line in there somewhere, and so did Queen. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan of both those bands.
I would say that I do these interviews almost every single day, and almost everybody says Kiss. It's Oh
yeah, they're a national treasure, American national treasure. Who doesn't like them?
Yeah. Somebody here, the first concert was seeing you open for Loverboy.
Yes, I remember that.
What amps and effects are you using nowadays?
Well, when I can use my own stuff, I use Soldano amps with MXR delay, and I have a Distortion Plus, Ibanez Distortion Plus, and that's all I use, and a noise gate and a tuner. That's it, MX noise gate. Usually when I'm in the studio doing stuff, they have all kinds of outboard gear to use. And when I tour, a lot of times you don't get to use your own amps because you can't fly around with all your gear. So rental companies supply you with equipment, and I usually get Marshall 900s because they're readily available, and there's a lot of them. It's hard to rent a Soldano amp or some kind of custom boutique amp. They're hard to come by, so you got to settle with a big amp like a Marshall or a Fender or something like that.
All right, here we go. Robert Wiggin, do you have any good memories from the making of the Down to the Bone record? It's one of my all-time favorites.
I don't know about great memories, but I have some memories about that. That was recorded at a studio in Hollywood. I think I brought my dog, my German Shepherd, to the studio a couple of times. That's the only thing I really remember. Nothing really eventful happened. Just typical recording the songs and out, But it was, a good record. I like that record too. It's a fun record.
All right, so we're going to take a few more questions, and then we're going to wrap it up and let Carlos get back to his life. But so I want to, and then you're not going to see him do this again for a while. So you better ask some, some good questions, because this is your shot. And so I want to point out again that if you want to pick up some cool merchandise, you're going to go to bangyourhead.us, and you can get the Guitarist shirt that I'm wearing right now. I got my Carlos Cavazo shirt here. It was in the laundry. I had to fish it out. But hold on. I customized mine, but you can also get the Bang Your Head Carlos t-shirt.
Cool.
So you gotta get that. And then they got guitar picks and pictures and all kinds of just cool merchandise. And so, support and for Carlos sitting around and putting up with all this. And so they want to make that. And then also, if you're enjoying these interviews, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel because it really helps. Like the video, share it. And I know we had some technical difficulties again in the beginning, but I think we got through it. And now we're getting to the point where we can at least get to many of your questions. So there's 226 people watching live right now. So I just want to let people know this is your chance. Get in those questions. And a lot of these questions are questions that he's answered. So I'm not skipping you. It's just that he's answered these. Like, for example, this one right here. Is there any chance of getting back together with RATT? Which he's answered a lot. Carlos would get back together with RATT. He'd like to do it with the real lineup of Vaughan, Martini, and Pearson. And if they do it, Carlos would, and he'll be on board.
I'm on board.
I had a lot of questions about this one here, so I'll let this one in. Did you ever meet Mick Mars, and did you see the rig he used at the US Festival?
I met Mick Mars many times, and he was always really cool. The last time I saw him was at the NAMM show. Me and Warren, he was doing an autograph session. Me and Warren came up behind him and surprised him, and we took some pictures with him and stuff. And it looks like he was really happy to see us. I know has a share of health problems, but I wish him the best. And as far as his rig, Mick Mars' rig, no, I'm sure it's a monstrous rig. More monsters than anybody has ever had. I haven't looked at it, to be honest.
Yeah. And so, okay, this question here is, after QR in 1988, were you planning to do another record with Paul Schwertino?
We probably were, but just didn't pan out. I liked working with Paul. He's a great songwriter. He's got to work with. And we seem to gel with him. So, hopefully we'll do something with it. I'll do something with him in the future,
Yeah. This is a question that I like. I ask people this all the time. So, the question is, are there any other famous bands that offered you a job that you've turned down, and why?
Yeah, actually there is. There's a few. I don't want to mention any names out of respect. But there is a few. And I think only reason why I turned them down is because I had other things going on at the time, I was working with Big Noise, and I started working with RATT, and I was working with the Hollywood All-Stars and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. It's most people won't give it up. I've tried to drag it out of people, but yeah, most people don't, out of respect, don't mention it. Also, a lot of people said, though, they got offered to join bands that were already established bands. And for them, the idea of just filling in for someone else wasn't their thing. With RATT, you did contribute to an original album.
Right. Well, yeah, I see people's point. You don't want to step in and be like the replacement guy and just do what they tell you to do. And that's not fun. I see why a lot of people don't want to do that. With RATT, I came in and I got I'm more than just a side man. I'm a songwriter. Yes. And, I have a lot to contribute. I have a lot of songs in my head that's just still waiting to come out, And
you were perfect for that band because you were a huge success on the Sunset Strip in the 80s as well. And you guys really worked out together and made that product an even better product. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm passing this question through because I know that I like to start a little bit of trouble. The question is, do you like Jizzy's voice?
Jizzy Pearl? Yeah, I think he sounded great with Love Hate. You know, as far as his with RATT, maybe he's probably one of the closer sounding guys to Stephen Pearcy, maybe, but probably Love Hate was some of his better vocal stuff, probably more so than RATT stuff.
What's funny is, so here in Las Vegas, I have this project, Sin City Sinners, and Carlos came into play, and Jizzy Pearl was singing with us at the time. Right. But Jizzy was also in a version of Quiet Riot, and he was not allowed to sing the Quiet Riot songs. So, and I argue that they were Slade songs and that it should have been.
Right, you're right.
But so we brought in Frank Domino from the band Angel, And so Jizzy sang RATT songs with you, and Frank would come up and sing Quiet Riot / Slade songs. And so just to answer the question about Jizzy, I mean, I think we're going for is that Carlos does not pay much attention to what that other lineup is up to.
I don't. I really don't. But back to sitting in with him on stage, it was great. I had a great time. Jizzy sings those songs. He sings the hell out of them. And working with Frank Domino, that was such a pleasure. I mean, he's such a great, talented guy. And I know you're out in Vegas. You probably see him a lot out there.
He's great. Yeah. And he still performs with Sin City Sinners. We still do, we're talking about some upcoming stuff and, talented guy. And I think one of the things is no matter what you think of bands playing, Carlos has nothing to do with Jizzy's being in a version of Quiet Riot. You know what I mean? So let's see. It was funny because last time I asked you, what do you think of a band continuing as Quiet Riot with no members? And that stirred up all the controversy. And what's funny is you froze right as I asked you, not you personally, but the screen froze.
Oh, it did?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was saying stupid. I mean, they should go out as a tribute band, not as like the band. Come on, please.
Yeah. And I think that made the headlines the next day, but at least you were honest and commented your feelings. And I think for a lot of people, and I spoke to Eddie Trunk about this. I had him on last week, and I think he felt like a lot of people that as long as you're alive and Rudy Sarzo is alive, which is 50% of the core lineup, it seems odd not to have that be quite right if you were going to have it.
Well, never say never. Who knows? If it was to ever develop, maybe I would be interested. Who knows?
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Here's a question. Did Quiet Riot film any complete shows between 1983 and 1984? Oh,
yeah, we did. Yeah, there was a lot of shows by filmed. I'm sure they're out there floating somewhere.
Yeah. I've been asked this is coming up a lot, so I'll let it go in. Have you ever seen Angel before live?
Angel, yes, I did actually on one time, and I was a big fan of Angel. They're all, talented. They had great songs. They were talented players, and I'm actually friends with a couple of guys in the band. Greg Giuffria and Frank, and believe it or not, Barry Brandt was going to be in Quiet Riot at one point because Frankie left the band for a while, and he was going to join Quiet Riot. That's
funny. And Rudy Sarzo was an Angel for a minute.
He was. Small world, huh?
Mm-hmm. Angel is one of those great live shows that there's no real video of them, Carlos. So we've heard the legend. I had to have Frank on here. He was on here about 2 weeks ago, and I had to have him describe to me what an Angel concert was like because most people haven't seen it.
It was really magical. They wore like these white outfits, like Angel outfits, and they all they had good lighting and good sounds and the synthesizer sounds and weird stuff going on. It was pretty crazy. I mean, I like I said, I only saw them once, but I had a couple of their records and I was a big fan.
Yeah. I let this one go through because I agree with it. It's from Gene. You and Rudy should do Quiet Riot. I'm not sure you guys should do Quiet Riot, but I think it's nice to see the two of you play together.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe something could happen.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm getting ready to wrap this up. So let's get your last questions in so that Carlos can go back to not talking to anyone.
Go back to hiding under my shell.
Mm-hmm. This is it. This is it. He came out of the bunker to talk to you guys. I like this question, Anthony. What's the last guitar you bought?
The last guitar I bought actually is right here. I just bought this like a couple of weeks ago, classical guitar, and a couple $1,000. And Cordoba guitar. I like classical music. Big fan. Hope it stays here.
Yes. No, you can't have any more guitars get stolen.
Yeah, I know.
And
But the last electric guitar I got was that Burgundy Gibson Flying V, and the newest guitar I got was the classical.
yeah, okay. Favorite Quiet Riot song that wasn't a hit?
My favorite Quiet Riot song that wasn't a hit. You know, I don't remember the name of it, but it was on one of the albums that wasn't a big album. There was a couple songs on there that are good. Unfortunately, I don't even remember the names of the songs off the top of my head. As far as like the Mental Health album, I'd say maybe Love's a Bitch. It wasn't a hit, but that was a good song.
Okay, yeah. So that's a good one. Like I said, just a couple more questions. You know, all these people, you all bitched at me about my questions. Now you've got your shot, and and all of a sudden the cat's got your tongue. He's here, and I tell you, Carlos is one of the only few people that you'll interview who isn't going to hold back the truth. He's always been honest.
Yeah, what you see is what you get, I guess.
Yeah, and he's not. You know, I've had people tell me can't talk about that because of a lawsuit that happened 40 years ago. I mean, you know, you're not going to be dishonest.
No.
So let's, yeah, somebody said Love's a Bitch is a favorite of theirs. And here's a good question from Sammy Allen. When will you get a signature guitar? And in my opinion, why haven't you already had one?
I've had a couple of people. I was going to do one with Jackson, never worked out. And the Gibson people not that long ago asked me if I'd be interested. And I said, yeah, but we haven't worked out any details yet. Maybe in the future with Gibson. You know, I got endorsement with Gibson now. Mm-hmm. I have for like last 10 years or so, 12 years. Hopefully I can do some with Gibson Flying V, Carl's guitar. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think that is something that people are really looking for. And you're one of the few guys, you know, you haven't really done it. I don't
know why. I just never did.
Where did that question go? There was a good question here. Hold on. What famous guitarist is the biggest asshole you met?
Famous guitarist is the biggest asshole that I've met.
You don't have to answer, but
you know, I would. Actually, everybody's been pretty cool to me in my career. I've met a lot of people. The biggest asshole, I don't know. I really don't know. No one's ever really been that mean to me, really. Maybe other people that are not celebrities, but any celebrity has never reacted weird to me, I have to say.
And I think that people have to understand that, you know, Carlos, you were already an established musician in a massive band. So, you know, someone probably wouldn't treat you bad, you know.
I hope not.
We've had a lot of questions about Yngwie on here.
He was probably, probably one of them. Probably the most egotistical guy you could probably meet. But
they found it.
For good reason. The guy is, you know, he's a talented guy. And a lot of times people with that kind of a talent, they're strong-willed and, you know, they're tough to deal with maybe, you know.
I'll tell you a funny story. I saw Yngwie here in Vegas just the other day. He was doing a live streaming concert. But I wasn't there for Yngwie. I was there with my friend Tiffany, who sang the song I Think We're Alone Now. Yeah. And Tiffany and I stuck around to watch Yngwie Malmsteen, which, what an odd melting pot of life, you know, when Tiffany is watching Yngwie Malmsteen. And if he got paid by the note, he would have been a multi-millionaire.
Right.
I like this question, if I can get to it. They're going by fast. What's the top speed you ever drove on your Ferrari? Be honest.
Actually, the car I have now, I've never gone over 100 miles an hour in yet. But when I had that Lamborghini, I think I went about 140, 150 one night. Me and my friend, you know, it was on the freeway, like late at night. Nobody was on the freeway. It was like 8 lanes wide, and I just opened it up for probably about 30 seconds. You know, quickly. I didn't want to go too long, and I cut it down. But we got up to probably like 140, 150, and I started shutting it down. All right. Those cars get moving pretty quick, so it seemed like maybe a couple of minutes was probably only like 30, 40 seconds for some reason.
I'm letting this question go through. George Lynch or Warren DeMartini?
That's a tough question. They're both amazing guitar players. Who do I like better? I can't answer that.
Yeah, that's tough. What if we threw in Jakey Lee?
Jakey Lee. Oh God, I don't want to talk bad about any of my friends. You know, these guys are all my friends. I've been watching George Lynch since like the early '70s. You know, when he was in cover bands. You know, I knew that guy was going to be huge one day. You know.
Yeah, those are those are all amazing guitar players. Jake's definitely Jake's probably the biggest personality out of those three, though.
Yeah. Next would be George, then Warren last.
Yeah, but all amazing. I told those guys they should go on a tour together. That's the G3 tour that should happen. And,
I would love to see that.
And have you part of it? Yeah,
I would love to be on that. Hell yeah.
I mean, those are some of the best guitar players of that time.
Sure.
What's this one? Most crazy thing you ever did in Quai, like party? Anything like that?
The most crazy thing I ever did, like a party?
I guess.
Oh, God. Well, I remember the guys in the band knew this girl who was a stripper, and we did a show, and after the show, it was like late. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and she goes, "Yeah, you guys want to go to my club? We can all open it up." She had the keys to the club. It was in Washington State. I think it's Seattle. I remember right. But the girl had keys to the club. We went up there with seemed like maybe 10 people, and we went into the club, and all of a sudden, all these people started coming in out of the woodwork. There must have been like probably 100 people after a while, and it was this crazy party. Like everyone's running around naked, and there was sex going on around in rooms, and drug taking, and the lights were all going off low, and you couldn't see what was going on. There was fog everywhere. Like they had smoke machines. It was a crazy, like a Fellini movie dream or something like that. It was probably one of the craziest parties I've ever been to.
You know, Carlos, now a question that I have is, how did you survive all those decadent years? You know, you don't have a drug problem that anyone knew about. You weren't known for being an asshole, and you're alive. You're happy. So tell me, what was the secret to getting through all that?
I don't know. It's a good question. Thankfully, I never got addicted to any hard drugs. I smoke pot. I do. It's the only thing I really had been doing throughout the years. I didn't drink too much. And I tried to stay out of as much trouble as I could, but maybe I'm lucky. I don't know. I just tried to do the right thing as much as I could, and avoid bad things.
Yeah, I think. Well, you did it. All right, so we're gonna. Some of these questions are just ridiculous. Carlos, if you read all these questions, now you would know why you don't do interviews. And for everybody who criticized my interview, you can see why you didn't do so much better, folks. Anyway, here's some nice words for you. I like this one. Someone like to know, will you release any more instructional videos?
I might, maybe one day. I did do like one or two, I think a Star Licks a long time ago in the 80s, like 84, 85, I think that came out. But I might, they're kind of fun, if there might be a market for it.
I think there would definitely be a market for it. And even online, we've got to get you a better internet connection, but I think there are people who'd love to see you. Mm-hmm. Oh, here's a good one. I like this question. I can't find the person who said it, but they want to know about the Choir Riot show at the nudist camp. I've wondered about that one too.
I remember that. I do remember that. We played a nudist camp, and everybody was pretty much naked in the crowd. It was probably like 50-50. Some people had their clothes on, but mostly they were naked. It was pretty crazy. People were getting drunk in the crowd, running around, doing crazy things.
I quote Kevin Dubrow almost every time a band I worked with showed up and it was a bad crowd. I quoted what Kevin said, and I believe he said it before that show. He said, sometimes you play for millions of people, and sometimes you play for multiple people. And
that's true. It's true.
Yeah, words of wisdom. But so
when you're in a rock band, you don't know what you're going to get. Especially when you're playing like a club scene, it could be sold out, or it could be like 20 people there. You don't know. Depends on what city you're in, what state, all kinds of things.
Well, and it's like Spinal Tap. You're in Boston, and the tour manager tells you it's not a big college town. You know.
Long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. You know what they say.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Carlos. So I'm gonna wrap this up. But I'm so glad that you came back and did this, and I think a lot of people got to ask questions. If there's anything that you didn't get, it's probably in our first interview. And we wanted to see you play, Carlos. We'll have to figure out how to do that. We're going to get that next time. Carlos, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come out there and film it myself once this social distancing is over.
Okay.
And then we can go live and we'll and people can see you play. And I think there's a lot of there's going to be a lot of music once things open up. And Carlos has talked about Rough Riot will probably continue again. And, he's always in demand. And then who knows? RATT, no one ever knows what's going on with RATT, but I think there's a good chance. I think there's a good chance that you'll see that again in the near future. And so, so anyway, guys, go to bangyourhead.us and pick up some cool stuff, including the Guitarist t-shirt that I'm wearing right now. And support. And then also we'll add some links after this is over. We'll put some links down below where you can go and buy some other Carlos's stuff. So again, thank you for joining. Anything you want to say before we go? This is your last chance, Carlos. You're not going to talk to these people again.
Yeah, thanks, Jason, for having me on your show. And I want to thank everybody for chiming in and asking the questions. Really appreciate you being a fan and supporting what I do. And it means a lot. Much appreciated.
Yeah, and I'd like to say before we go is that Carlos really is one of the good guys. It's not an act. He's always been very generous with his time. He played a charity show we did for kids with cancer. And, Carlos really helped me to build this channel. The subscriptions have gone through the roof. And a lot of that was because Carlos was a friend. He doesn't have to come on and do these things. People ask him to do them a lot. So, and thank you, Evoker. But anyway, yeah, so I really appreciate it, Carlos, for giving me a chance to let this build up, and people seem to really enjoy these interviews.
Cool. Sounds really good.
All right, folks, we will see you again. Again, you can subscribe on my channel. You can watch all my interviews. There's about 35 of them up there now. So please go check that out. Thank you.
Yeah.